Someone will ask me what my favorite movie I've appeared in is, and I don't have one.
When you ask anyone to describe the Hollywood star, Diane Keaton, the answer would likely fall around her fun personality and ability to effortlessly make anyone around her smile. These are qualities that have led her to the top of her career in Hollywood. Even during some of her interviews, she carries on this aura with her, making her one of the most loved Hollywood stars. What everyone might not know is that behind it all is a story of endurance and unconditional love, which has held Diane and her family together, allowing her to find some of the stability that has propelled her to her current status. Want to learn more about these struggles? Come with us as we take a deep dive into the many successes and troubles of Diane Keaton. Diane Keaton was born Diane Hall on January 5, 1946 in Los Angeles, California, to a family of 4 children. Her father, John Newton Ignatius Hall, was a civil engineer, and his wife, Diane's mother, Dorothy Hall, was a housewife and an amateur photographer. From an early age, Diane developed an interest in creativity, for which she has been really thankful to her mother, Dorothy Hall, who was her greatest influence. From an early age, it was clear that Diane was very much interested in the arts and her environment supported her dream. Her mother's strong interest in photography and home movies stimulated an early love for the camera within their household. Many times, Diane would be invited to stage a family play or photograph moments at events. Those were the events and moments that inspired her later to become an actress and a filmmaker. For her education, she went to Santa Ana High School and became very active in drama and singing. She participated in dramatic and theatrical performances in the school and drew a perfect sketch of her talent and charisma on the stage. After she graduated from high school, she enrolled for further studies at Santa Ana College as her initial choice before later transferring to Orange Coast College. However, Keaton's vision for her career was huge. She dropped out of Orange Coast College along the line and moved to Manhattan, New York, where she pursued her acting career. While in New York, she was accepted at the neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater, which was one of the best acting schools around, by way of which she eventually came to study with one of the era's most renowned acting coaches, Sanford Meisner. Such rigorous training, indeed, had prepared Keaton for the rigorous world of professional acting. Initially, Keaton was faced with the challenge of getting major roles, as she was initially cast for small roles. As she fought for her place in the entertainment industry, the first door was finally opened for her when she was cast in the original Broadway run of the musical, Hair, in 1968. Playing a part in Hair, Keaton became popular not just for her acting, but also for her decision not to appear nude on stage, which set the tone for her decisions throughout her career. During her successful run on Broadway, Keaton caught the attention of the legendary Woody Allen, who had cast her in his play Play It Again, Sam, in 1969. This marked the beginning of a good relationship for Keaton and Allen, both professionally and personally. The play was a hit, and Keaton's abilities as a comedian on the boards were highly acclaimed. 2 years after that, Keaton made her debut in film and landed her first lead role in Lovers and Other Strangers in 1970. However, Keaton's growth in the industry can be traced back to the relationship she had with Allen, as she was still cast in the film adaptation of Play It Again, Sam, in 1972, which was directed by Herbert Ross. Just within the same year, Keaton got her big break in Hollywood, when she took the role of Kay Adams in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. The movie was a huge success and solidified Keaton's place as a star in the industry. The movie was said to be one of the greatest films of all time by critics lauding the efforts of all the casts, including Keaton, who went on to reprise her role in the sequels to this film, including the 1974 sequel, The Godfather Part 2, and the 1990 sequel, The Godfather Part 3. However, Keaton made an even bigger break when she worked alongside Woody Allen in The Making of Annie Hall in 1977. The movie was a semi-autobiographical romantic comedy and became the major defining moment of Keaton's career. Her performance as Annie Hall got wide acclaim, and she got the recognition for Best Actress in the Academy Awards, and the movie itself won 4 Oscars, which included the category for Best Pictures. With these recognitions, Keaton's talent was no longer in doubt, and this was the beginning of her huge break in the industry. Moreover, Annie Hall went beyond just being a movie and connected with the popular culture of the time. Keaton's character, Annie Hall, appealed to viewers for her style, which included baggy trousers, vests, and ties, which influenced the fashion sense of people at the time as they tried to copy Annie's style. After Annie Hall, Keaton had more reasons to work with Woody Allen, and they collaborated on many more projects like Interiors in 1978, Manhattan in 1979, and Radio Days in 1987. These movies showed even more to the public, revealing the extent of her acting prowess as she effortlessly switches from comic to drama roles. Diane Keaton boasts a lengthy and varied career with copious, highly acclaimed roles in very different genres. There was no looking back for her as one of the most potent actresses in Hollywood after Annie Hall. In 1981, the actress appeared in Warren Beatty's historical epic Reds, playing the role of journalist Louise Bryant. Keaton's performance in the movie earned her another Academy Award nomination in the Best Actress category. Due to her performance, her character Bryant, a strong and independent woman, was well received by the audience and reviewers. By the end of the 1980s and 1990s, Keaton could pick up work in just about any genre. She let her sweet, slightly kooky side show as Mother of the Bride, as she stars alongside Steve Martin in the comedy Father of the Bride in 1991 and its sequel Father of the Bride Part 2 in 1995. Both were substantial box office hits and further helped enhance Keaton's reputation as comedy's leading lady. Keaton showed she could do well in 2 different acting genres when she starred in Marvin's Room in 1996 with Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio. Keaton played the role of Bessie, a woman who was trying to cope with caring for her terminally ill father, which she executed so well that it won her 3rd Academy Award Best Actress nomination. The film also appealed to critics for the depiction of the dynamics of family life. Also, in 2003, she starred in the romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson, which went on to become another commercial hit and was also critically successful due to the touch it brought to the romantic comedy. Her role as Erica Barry, a playwright who falls in love with Nicholson's character, captivated the audience for the good way she executed the role, earning her a Golden Globe and another Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. The on-screen chemistry was just impossible to ignore. Amazingly, Diane Keaton earned herself quite a recognition for her performances over the years in the movie industry. Apart from the Academy Award for Annie Hall and other nominations for the later films, she was also nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards and a BAFTA Award, not to mention the AFI Life Achievement Award. Diane Keaton also received a Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement in 2005 at the Venice Film Festival, all marks of her immeasurable contributions to the industry. Over the years, she's been able to break beyond the limits of acting. She has let her skills spread wide by taking up roles as a director and producer. Some of her works include Heaven from 1987 and Unstrung Heroes from 1995. She has also been lauded as a brilliant writer, with memoirs and books on photography and even home design to her name. One of her memoirs is Brother and Sister, in which she shares some very touching stories about her personal journey with her brother. Diane Keaton has indeed come a long way from a little career-minded girl in Los Angeles with ambition to a highly regarded Hollywood actress. As an added credit, she is viewed as a role model for other aspiring actors in Hollywood. Over the years, she has been able to appeal to a new generation of viewers who are easily taken by her fashion and comic sense. She always knows how to lighten up the mood in the room, as has been observed in her interviews and other appearances. Keaton's career and overall personality have been heavily shaped by the experiences that she had growing up, in which her relationship with her younger brother played a major role. She opened up about this in the 2020 memoir, Brother and Sister. Inside her personal and deeply moving book, Keaton reveals she had quite a relationship with her younger brother, Randy Hall. She speaks of their shared past, his struggles with mental illness, and the deep bonding that has kept them together throughout life, a hauntingly touching memoir of family and love, and the hassles when one has to stand by a loved one in distress. Randy Hall is Diane Keaton's little brother, at the core a talented man, an artist, and a writer who belongs to the wild 1970s in Los Angeles, so much balanced by a sensitive soul. However, he faced a serious challenge at the time that kept him out of the public eye, far from the limelight his sister occupied for so long. Born a few years after Diane, Randy was a quiet and introspective child who seemed quite different from his other siblings right from his tender age. While Diane was out in the limelight, Randy disappeared into his own space, into art and writing. He battled a mental illness that gave him his own unique mind and outlook on life, which Keaton herself found interesting. Diane and Randy were pretty close when they were kids. Raised in a family in suburban Los Angeles, the two shared a bond forged and nurtured by their mother, Dorothy Hall, who would stop at nothing in support of her children's creative endeavors. Randy was an artistic child, and Diane thought his vision and intensity were admirable. However, as they grew older, their differences began to be more obvious. Diane went into acting while Randy's life took a different route, which wasn't so pleasant. Randy's mental health issues started to show when he was quite young, during his teenage years. He gradually withdrew deeper and deeper into his art and writing. Yes, his family did see his gift, but they also saw something more. They soon came to learn of his depression, anxiety, and deepening isolation that seemed to never let him go, slowing his move through life. It continued this way for days on end, till he was nearly unable to function out in the world. Diane has written, much to detail, how it was very difficult for everyone in the family to watch her brother's life unravel, how the mental health challenges marked his life with isolation and potentials that remained unrealized. For all his immense talent, Randy never did break into the kind of acclaim and success that his work deserved. He became increasingly reclusive, eventually living in near seclusion and trying to cope with life's necessities. In Brother and Sister, Keaton picks up on the guilt and helplessness that she has felt watching her brother spiral downward. She had gained great success and wealth, however, she felt she could do nothing to help him in ways that she wished she could. That feeling of helplessness is observed again and again throughout this memoir. Keaton was really struggling with the realization of just how little she really could do to change her brother's fate. But through it all, Diane and Randy stuck together. In her memoir, Keaton picks at the tangled threads of this love story, a tapestry so finely woven of love, anger, and interdependence. How his presence in her life remains steady, albeit subdued, is due to the strikingly differing directions in which the two went. As she grew in fame and prestige and became an icon of Hollywood, Randy continued on his unfortunate downward spiral, but the bond between the siblings remained strong. She describes moments of pain, watching Randy slip ever more into his own private world, even as she describes those times that they shared in joy and laughter. Keaton talks of the childhood they shared, their love for their parents, and how Randy's art and writing had been windows into his troubled soul. Blazing through all these is Keaton's love for her brother, and also her deep respect for his talents and his humanity. One of the most influential people in Diane's and Randy's lives was their mother, Dorothy Hall. Dorothy was a homemaker with an interest in photography and raising children with impulses to be creative. She played the most critical role in bringing out Diane and Randy's artistic sensibilities by encouraging them to express themselves through various forms of art and writing. In Brother and Sister, Diane remembers her mother as a loving and supportive presence, who was deeply involved in the life of her and her siblings. Dorothy's creativity and dedication to family set the relationship type in which Diane and Randy were close from the beginning. When Randy's problems began to be serious, Dorothy was a source of comfort and the encourager to both her children. This, however, did not come without a struggle from the mother's side, as Diane goes into depth in describing the numerous battles their mother went through, helping Randy out during his crisis. Given the nature of his case, at times overwhelmingly, Dorothy could not save her son from some of the pain and isolation that he was experiencing. This was very hard for her to bear. Diane's memoir presents Dorothy's image as that of a dedicated mother who cares a lot and would always spare nothing in ensuring her children do well, even when things seem quite desperate. Within those years, Diane and Randy were also surrounded by some others who looked out for them. One of them was their father, John Hall, who was much quieter compared to Dorothy. To the best of his capabilities, he gave a stable and nurturing place for his children in the home. He was also a professional engineer, so he mostly spent time with the work, but always quietly supported, and was rooting for his family. The other formative figure in Diane's life was the filmmaker Woody Allen, with whom she also developed an extremely close professional and personal relationship. It goes without saying that Allen was influential on Diane's part, not just through their professional working relationship, but also as emotional support in times of crisis. Diane stated in her memoir how Allen helped her find a balance between fame and family despite the issues with her brother. Also, during this chaotic time, Diane was also able to find solace with her small group of friends, which included artists and actors who stood by her and looked after her. During some of her difficult days, she had people like Jack Nicholson and Warren Beatty around to comfort and commiserate with her. Brother and Sister is an intensely personal and moving memoir that Diane Keaton has shared with the public, exposing an area in the actress's life that no one gets to see. It is a record of her brother and his struggles, along with their effects on her life. People have marveled at how Keaton has managed to accomplish raw honesty when it comes to loving a person through that kind of suffering. It's not just a story about the struggles of her brother Randy. The memoir also articulates the knots inseparable in family relationships, the bonds that they share together, and how one deals with loss and pain. It resonated very much with readers and most critics, who applauded Keaton for being vulnerable and honest. Sharing her brother's story has made people more aware of the toll mental health issues can take on families. Keaton opened the conversation to show that with those who struggle, there needs to be compassion, understanding, and support. As a tribute to a shared, unconditional love, Brother and Sister becomes not just a salute to Diane Keaton's attachment toward her brother, but also to her commitment to his life and his art. In writing this memoir, she gave Randy a voice and a platform from which his story, in so many ways, no doubt would be heard and his talents acknowledged. The author highlighted this most centrally with the emphasis on family and the enduring power of love, how we carry the memories of those whom we love within ourselves, even in the face of loss. Despite all that Diane had going on in her personal life growing up, people are amazed at how she has been a source of happiness to so many people over the years through her performances. She has been able to make these troubles her strength and has continued to grow, raising her own family and sharing the same bond that has held her to her brother all these years. What's your favorite movement of Diane Keaton? Do share in the comments and make sure to join us in the next video.